So obviously you've always made it a point to find the right fit in regards to these head coaching vacancies. What made Coach Herring the right fit for this baseball program?
You know, there's something about the opportunity and wanting to be here. Nicholls State University is a close-knit community. When you talk about where he comes from, right? And I just felt like when you sit and talk to him, and you talk about the love of our student athletes and how he treated student athletes and all of that, that's a fit for me, right? That's a big deal. And being around championship caliber teams, right? That's important because it's been done here, and so we want to continue to get that done, and I felt like it was a perfect fit for us.
So you were hired during COVID. How would you describe, I guess, the experience you've had so far, you know, not only filling these vacancies, but filling it with high caliber people who have now found success in these sports?
We've been very, very blessed and fortunate, I would say that, because of the opportunity that our leadership, right? Dr. Clune having the belief in me that we'll go find the right people, right? And I think that when I took the job at COVID, I had a lot of people telling me, like, you're crazy. And the love that I have for this place, it keeps me up at night wanting to make it better and better every day. And so we keep striving to be the best. That's the biggest part of it. And so you have to find the right people. I never talk about how many championships they won and all of that stuff. I talk about the people. If you find the right people, I say it all the time, if they're good human beings, the rest will follow. And so we've been blessed enough to have in our leadership good humans. And so that's been the biggest point.
How do you describe the standard that Mike Silva has now set for this baseball program?
Mike left a stamp on this baseball program that will never, ever be erased, right? I think I laughed the other day and said, when does it come up for Hall of Fame? Because he's a first ballot, right, as a coach. But I think the biggest part of it is that having people want to be around the baseball program. He had great student athletes. They were awesome to be around. And that was a big deal for us. But I think that his biggest stamp was that they were never out of a game and they were never afraid of anybody. And that's who Mike is, right? And so always having that willingness to, hey, we're blue collar. This is what we do, but we fight for everything that we get. And so, you know, we don't have everything, right? We don't have all of the shiny stuff, but I always talk about the substance that we have, and our substance is in the people that we bring here and the people that we recruit.
I was going to say, you mentioned Coach Herring's ability to recruit, and the track record that follows, you know, is a testament to that. How important was that when searching for a head coach, the ability to recruit?
It was very, very important. You start thinking about, we talk about Jims and Joes, right? Not X's and O's. And so I think about the people that he was able to, I mean, the top 25 recruiting class at BYU, right? To be around LSU and be around Jay Johnson, and Jay Johnson having to say so in the fact that, hey man, this dude helped me, right? And so when you start thinking about that in 22 years in the game, it's so important here because once you get here, it's hard to leave, right? I'm talking about student athletes as well, but you have to get them here. You have to get them in the place. And so it was so important because of all of his connections.
How would you describe the state of Nicholls athletics right now, given that football is fresh off a championship, baseball, back-to-back championships, softball was right there, but you have to replace a head coach, and then the basketball programs are always competing at a high level. How would you describe the state of Nicholls athletics right now?
It is by far the place that you want to be. We talk about it being some of the best 4 years of Nicholls athletics right now, and we talk about right now. I mean, I think that's the biggest part. I don't talk about, you know, people always go, man, how do you do it? I do it with people. I never stop saying that. We have an athletic department that runs with about 9 folks. And I can't do my job without all of them, right? And so, again, the ability that Dr. Clune instills to let us do what we need to do to be successful, I think that's so important, but also the buy-in from everybody. We talk about culture, and that's a word that everybody talks about. We talk about family, and everybody talks about what it is to be. We are. That's not a joke. Those head coaches are always helping each other. They're not fighting. We talk about don't compare, just compete, right? We're not like everybody else, but our difference is good. So we compete, so we can continue to win championships. But listen, as an alum, it brings me chills to see where we are today, and I'm so grateful that for the people that we bring in, because again, if you don't have the right people, you can't have the right stuff.